Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're setting aside the usual data and reports. We're focusing instead on sources that are, well, purely unsettling. We're diving into some true, genuinely terrifying stories that all revolve around, that classic high school event, prom night.
Right. Prom, it's supposed to be this peak moment, right? Celebration, ritual, the big send-off.
Exactly.
And maybe that's what makes the darkness we're looking at feel even starker, more shocking.
Yeah, definitely. These aren't just campfire tales. We're looking at documented accounts, real narratives where this night of high expectations just crashes into horror, tragedy, even unsolved mystery.
Things that really happen, psychological horror, real loss, things we just can't explain.
Our mission here is just to recount these stories, pull out the details that make things so disturbing, so memorable. Okay, so let's start with one that really highlights human darkness showing up in a tuxedo, the story of Tommy.
Okay, Tommy. The sources paint a pretty clear picture here. This wasn't just like your average school bully.
No, not at all.
He was big, 6'3", imposing, but his behavior, it was genuinely pathological, documented stuff.
It really was. He was seen as a genuine danger, right?
Yeah.
But almost accepted. The sources mention him being suspended for collecting dead animals.
Yeah, and mailing them to people, just incredibly disturbing.
And the physical torment of younger kids.
Yeah.
Forcing them to be his chair. I mean, until they physically collapsed. That's not bullying. That's something else.
It is. And the horror isn't just what he did. It's that this known threat was operating right there inside the school community. Everyone knew.
That's a key point, isn't it? That sort of passive acceptance or maybe fear, like a collective paralysis you mentioned.
Exactly, because he was this huge, established, untouchable figure. Nobody stepped in, and that just let the threat grow.
Which leads us straight to prom night. The narrator, Scott, he's inside having a good time, and his friends see Tommy.
Outside, lurking near the woods.
Yeah, and he looks completely out of place, like disheveled, and he's holding a hatchet.
A hatchet at prom.
Brandishing it, apparently, and making threats, saying someone was going to meet the Reaper tonight.
Wow. So, direct, deadly warning. On a night that's meant to be all about fun and safety, it immediately makes the whole space feel unsafe, vulnerable.
Totally. So later on, Scott steps outside for a smoke, uses a side door, a fire escape, important detail. It locked from the outside. So he's out there. Alone.
Trapped, essentially.
And suddenly he sees Tommy running at him, sprinting from the woods. He stops, 6 feet away.
Close, too close.
And Scott describes the way he talked as just unnerving. Like he was trying to act human, but wasn't quite getting it right. Tried to lure him further away into the dark. Reminded him about the hatchet.
That image of being stuck at the door, safety just inches away but locked. That's pure psychological terror right there.
Then Tommy just stares him down and says that line, "If I want to hurt you, there's no goddamn thing you can do about it."
Chilling. Utterly chilling.
Scott's just frozen. But then, luckily, his friends show up looking for him. Just the sight of 3 other people is enough.
Breaks the spell.
Yeah. Tommy just turns and bolts back into the trees. End of story for prom night. But not the end of the story.
Right. Because years later, the narrator looks him up.
He does. And he finds Tommy. Serving life sentence for killing his college roommate.
And the weapon?
The weapon was a hatchet, the exact same type, presumably the same one he had that night at prom.
Oh, man. It connects everything. It makes the high school threat, which might have seemed like just intimidation at the time.
It makes it a clear precursor, a warning sign that wasn't fully understood, maybe?
The takeaway there feels like it's about that social acceptance, the quiet agreement to just leave the monster alone.
Yeah, it allows that known danger to just sit there, incubate, and then years later, tragedy. Okay, let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
Moving from documented human cruelty to stories where the horror is tied more to the unexplained, maybe even supernatural.
Right.
This one involves trauma, belief, and 2 little China bears.
Ornamental bears, right. Inherited from grandparents the narrator never actually met.
Exactly. 1 brown, 1 white. Identical otherwise. The key detail the source mentions is their eyes, described as weirdly human, realistic.
Okay, kind of creepy.
So fast forward to prom night again.
Yeah.
The narrator is in a really bad car crash.
Yeah.
Devastating.
Yeah, the source says his date and her father, who was driving and had been drinking, they didn't survive.
Tragic.
Yeah.
But the narrator, he survived, but barely. He was apparently clinically lost for a full minute on the operating table. Surgeons brought him back.
Wow. Okay.
And here's the strange part. His only memory from that period while he was basically gone. An incredibly vivid dream.
A dream during clinical death.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
He described being alone in a silent operating room, tools scattered, blood everywhere, and sitting on the table, staring at him.
The two China bears.
The two bears. And in the dream, total silence. The white bear just slips, falls off the table, shatters into pieces, but makes no sound.
Silent shattering.
Yeah. So he wakes up eventually, recovers over time, goes home. And when he gets back, he finds only the brown bear on the window ledge where they always sat.
Don't tell me.
The white bear had fallen. It had shattered on the exact same night as the car crash.
Whoa. Okay, that's uncanny. That's more than coincidence.
For the narrator, absolutely. Surviving clinical death, then finding this. It became like the core of his survival story.
He saw it as protection, right, from the grandparents he never met.
Yeah. The takeaway here isn't just, oh, spooky China. It's about how we process trauma. The psychological need maybe to find meaning, find protection in something utterly random and catastrophic. It gave him a narrative.
A way to make sense of the senseless. Okay, yeah. That's heavy.
Let's move to another kind of unexplained phenomenon. This one involves lost time, a really baffling case from the 60s. Gary's story. Spokane, Washington.
Yes, Gary case.
This one is, well, it's famous in certain circles for being just completely bizarre.
So 1960s prom. Gary steps outside into the woods near the venue, probably for a smoke, they think.
Oh.
And he just vanishes. Completely. Huge searches, everything, nothing. Years go by, decades. Assumed lost, probably died out there.
Right. A sad, cold case. Until 22 years later.
The reappearance.
Yeah. A man is found wandering those same woods, wearing a vintage 1960s tuxedo.
It's Gary.
It's Gary. Physically, he looks about right for 22 years having passed, like 39 years old.
But mentally?
Mentally, he's still 17. He has his original ID from the 60s in his pocket. He's totally confused, and he insists, absolutely insists, that it's the morning after prom, that only one night has gone by.
22 years just gone from his perspective. That's hard to even grasp.
Imagine the process of convincing him. The source details how staff, his parents, who were now elderly, of course, had to sit with him for hours.
Showing him newspapers, photos, proof the world changing.
Exactly. Proof of the 2 decades he completely missed. Trying to bridge that gap between his reality and, well, actual reality.
And the psychological impact of that must have been immense.
It was devastating. The source says he suffered a severe psychological breakdown once the truth finally sank in. The disconnect was just too profound.
So what happened to him? Is it paranormal, a time slip, or something psychological?
Well, the survival aspect is baffling, right? How does someone survive 22 years in the woods, presumably still in a tuxedo? That part's unexplained.
Yeah, that's the sticking point.
But the mental state. Some theories point towards an extreme, prolonged dissociative fugue state, like temporary amnesia where you lose your identity, wander off. But for 22 years, and surviving, it's still a profound mystery.
It leaves so many questions unanswered. How did he eat? Where did he sleep? What in your memory? Just baffling.
That level of mystery, that feeling of the unknown pressing in, it kind of sets the stage for our next set of stories. These are more about unresolved horror, open cases, disturbing encounters where isolation plays a huge role.
Okay, starting with the prom in rural Idaho.
Yeah, central Idaho. Key detail. The prom was held way out, middle of nowhere, and near this location was an old farmhouse. Long abandoned, notorious locally.
So isolation is already a factor. The setting itself is kind of menacing.
Right. So late that prom night, the narrator and a few friends decide, let's go chuff at the creepy abandoned house.
As you do.
As you do. They drive up near it, and as they get close, they see a light inside, a flickering candlelight in one of the downstairs rooms.
Which is immediately weird, right? Abandoned for years, no power, probably gutted. Why is there a candle?
Exactly. Super unsettling. So they immediately decide, okay, let's get out of here. They turn the car around to leave.
And that's when they hear it.
That's when they hear it. A loud roar, engine sound.
Yeah.
A pickup truck suddenly tears around from behind the house.
Not on a road.
No road, just bombing across the open fields, uneven ground at high speed, and then it just vanishes into the darkness. Gone.
Wow. Okay. That's alarming.
They kind of brush it off, maybe. But the next morning, the news hits. 4 students from the prom are missing. 3 girls, 1 guy.
Oh, no.
Authorities search the area, including the abandoned house.
And they find
the missing male student inside the house, bound, gagged, unconscious, in the exact room where the narrator and his friend saw the candlelight.
Oh, my God. He survived, though.
He survived, but had no memory of what happened. Total blank.
So the narrator's group told the police about the truck.
They did. And the prevailing theory, though it's never been proven, is just chilling.
That the missing girls were in the truck.
That the girls were in the truck. That the narrator and his friends showing up spooked whoever was in the house. They grabbed the girls, abandoned the guy, and made that high-speed escape across the fields.
And the girls were just never seen again.
Never seen or heard from again. Vanished. An open case. The horror of being in the wrong place at the wrong time and maybe interrupting something truly awful.
Leaving just questions and tragedy. Okay. That's deeply disturbing.
Which brings us to our last story. This one's more recent. A modern encounter. And it's just bizarrely menacing. Happened at a hotel reception desk during a prom event.
Okay, set the scene.
Lone receptionist. Late at night, a man approaches the desk. He looks maybe late 40s, greasy hair, wearing an old, ill-fitting suit, but with, like, Adidas sneakers. Just an odd presentation.
Right, it doesn't sound like a prom goer.
Definitely not. But he walks up, eyes wide, completely serious, and insists he's a student. 16 or 17 years old. Here for the prom.
Despite looking almost 50.
Despite looking decades older. The receptionist is obviously taken aback, politely tells him, "Sir, you're clearly not 16.
Okay, standard procedure.
But then it gets really weird. He leans right over the counter, tells her he has a big blade in his pocket.
Whoa. Okay, threat level just spiked.
And then he offers her this truly sick wager.
A deal.
A deal involving the blade.
Yeah. He says, okay, if I'm not 16, you can cut off my finger. But
Right.
if I am 16, then I get to cut off yours.
Oh, that's horrific.
Yeah.
Pure menace.
What did she do?
Before she could even really process it or call security or anything, he just turns, walks out the door. Gone.
Just like that. Leaves her standing there after making that threat.
Yeah. But the real horror comes later. After her shift, she goes out to her car.
And there's something waiting.
There's an envelope tucked under her windshield wiper. Addressed to her. Inside, a short note. It just says, "A deal is a deal."
Please don't say.
And inside the envelope with the note was a human finger.
Oh, God.
And the source makes a point to add the finger was a different skin color from the man, implying it wasn't his own finger he lost in this twisted deal.
So he fulfilled his side of the wager with someone else's finger. That's just predatory and deeply, deeply disturbing. What happened then? Did they catch him?
Doesn't say. It ends there. Just this chilling, unresolved encounter.
Wow. Okay, so looking back at all these stories, Tommy's violence being normalized, Gary's lost decades, the Idaho disappearance, this final awful encounter.
Yeah, what's the thread connecting them?
It feels like it's about vulnerability, doesn't it? Prom is this highly structured, isolated event in many ways, a night of specific expectations.
Transition point.
Exactly. A liminal space, like you said earlier. And it seems like that specific kind of space, that ritual, somehow attracts or allows for extreme darkness to break through. Whether it's calculated human evil like Tommy, or the totally inexplicable like Gary's time loss, or just random terrifying predation.
It does make you wonder, what is it about these formal rites of passage? Does that energy, that focused expectation, somehow make the boundaries thinner, make reality itself feel bendable almost, allowing these horrors to slip in?
It leaves you with some really profound questions about safety, about reality, about the things that might be lurking just outside the firelight, preying on these moments of supposed innocence or celebration.
Definitely food for thought. We hope these true accounts, pulled from the shadows of prom night, have resonated with you, maybe unsettled you a bit.
In a compelling way, hopefully.
Right? If you found this deep dive into the dark side compelling, please do remember to support the channel. You can hit the like button, share this dive with someone who appreciates the unsettling, and definitely subscribe to Horror Docs.
We really appreciate you joining us as we explore these kinds of stories.
We do. Thanks for listening.